So what's up, Harry Bubba? What's up, Polly G? What is up, John Skulls? I think I'm saying it right. What's up, guys? This video is not for you, alright? This is going to be a basic build tutorial, but for the Kayfun V5. But this time, I'm going to be using a notch coil. As I said, it's not for you. You guys are probably doing quadruple coil builds in the Kayfun V5. Hey, I'm not in that direction yet, or maybe never will be. I like the Kayfun to get as much flavor as I can. So this is going to be a notch coil build, temp control for the Kayfun V5. Alright, Kayfun V5. So obviously what you need to do to participate in this video is that you need to be an owner of a Kayfun V5. That's all. And notch coils, of course. I'll show you everything in the close-ups, right? So let's do it, man. Let's get to the close-ups right now. Alright guys, welcome to this build tutorial. And we're going to do a notch coil build, of course, for the Kayfun V5. Alright, so before you get started, here are the things that you need. You will need a mod that can do temp control for stainless steel. And if you don't really have any temp control mod, you can also use stainless steel in power mode, so that'll be okay. But to get the best flavor, you would need a mod that can do temp control. Okay, it doesn't matter how many watts it goes up to. We're not going to use that many watts for this build. In my case, I have the Wismac Rollo. Okay, and you would need some notch coils. So there are many different people who make notch coils today. The one that I have is from Demon Killer, and this is going to be a 3.5 millimeter wide notch coil. If I had it with me, I would actually prefer to use the 3.0 millimeter notch coil. I've run out of those, so this is what I have. And if you want to get this notch coil, you can always get it online. Demon Killer. Now this particular notch coil, it comes like this, right? So the notch coils that you see here, just like this, all right, 3.5 millimeter in diameter. It also comes with some instructions, and this really useful, I guess, tool that you can use to bend the leads of your notch coil once you figure out how to use it. Alright, so what else do you need? You need screwdrivers, wire cutters, and some wicking material. I'm going to be using Cotton Bacon version 2.0. Alright, so to get started with your notch coil, what you need to do, number one, is you need to make sure that you have a screwdriver or a coiling jig that really matches the inner diameter of the notch coil. All right, in this case it's going to be 3.5 millimeter diameter, nice tight fit in there, and we want to get it as tight as possible, okay, because when you start bending the leads and screwing in the leads to the Kayfun V5, if you have some slack in here, then it's going to twist the notch coil. As you can see the notch coil design, okay, it's going to twist the notch coil. So once you have it firmly in your tool, then all you have to do is just bend one lead like this and bend the other lead on the other direction, okay, until you get something like this. And then you just have to unscrew the two post screws for your Kayfun V5. And now we're going to put the notch coil in, right? So again, this is where you have to make sure that your notch coil is secure with the coiling jig, because this is where it starts to get warped out of shape, right? So now I'm just going to press this down. I'm going to bring one lead on this side, okay, just like this, underneath the screws. And then I'm going to tighten this down. Alright, and now for the other side, I'm going to grab it here, hold it here, and now I'm going to tighten this one down as well. Alright, and now I can just position my notch coil to be as center as possible, okay, and I'm going to tighten the two screws off camera. Okay, and now I'm just going to take the coiling jig out of it. And then I'm going to cut the excess leads. The leads are really soft, so it's pretty easy to cut them off. Right, so using my screwdriver, I'm going to make sure this lead does not come outwards too much, so that you may touch other parts of the atomizer, right, just like that. And this one as well. All right, and finally, you can bring it up. You can bring the notch coil up a little bit if you don't want it too low. You can bring it up. Okay, make sure that you don't twist and turn too much, because the two leads are non-resistive wires and they're pretty soft. They're kind of like soldered to the actual notch coil itself. And if you twist this too much at this stage, you're going to snap those wires. Okay. All right, so I'm going to bring it up a little bit more, just to where I like it. All right, also make sure that the notch coils are not touching the decks. You don't want shorts. All right, so just about that will be just nice for me. You don't have to dry burn the notch coil. We're going to use it in temp control mode, so you don't have to dry burn the notch coil. Even if you're using it in power mode, you don't need to dry burn it and get rid of hot spots, etc. Because it heats up pretty evenly, I would say. That's one of the things I like about the notch coil. Alright, and now to start wicking it. As I told you, I'm going to be using the cotton bacon, right? So I have about this much of organic cotton. Make sure that it's nice and fluffy. If it's a bit compressed in a few parts, you just have to make sure that it's not so compressed, right? Just break it out like this, just a little bit. Because wicking is going to be really important for the notch coil. It has a huge surface area, as you can see here, right? Really large surface area. It's going to evaporate your juice pretty quickly, so you need to be feeding in the juice quickly as well with your wicking. All right, so if you're not sure, the best way is to just make sure that you have as much cotton as you can, and then you try to fit it in, right? Okay, if it goes through nicely, then there's no problem. If you're having trouble putting the cotton in, don't force it in, because it's going to warp the notch coil. So just then remove a little bit of cotton and try again. Okay, like this is probably a bit too much cotton, so I'm just going to tear some cotton out a little bit at a time, from the middle outwards. Okay, try again. And I'm going to tear out a little bit more again. All right, and just about this much, so the cotton is sitting really nice and tight in the middle, right? And so we have a lot of cotton here. I'm using a 3.5 millimeter diameter, and I need the cotton to start wicking properly. So what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to cut it to right about the black O-ring here. Okay, I'm going to cut it to right about that much. You can also eyeball it. Okay, and now the important part is to start fluffing up your cotton. Okay, make sure that you don't have any hard spots in the cotton. Okay, and if you have a Allen wrench, something like that, you can also just straighten out the cotton like that, so that it wicks as fast as possible. You really need to wick the notch coil as fast as you can, because it really evaporates a lot from the middle of the coil. So the middle of the coil has to be, as compact as possible. And then on both sides like this, you can thin out the cotton just like that. Okay, this side as well. I'm going to do at the bottom as well, like this. Just straightening out all the fibers of the cotton. Alright, clean this up. Alright, so looking nice and fluffy, and now I'm going to stuff the cotton in. Okay, once you have it in, you can just spread it out like this, and on the other side as well. Okay, so what I'm going for here is really a flavorful vape, not so much for the clouds. So you can experiment with different lengths of cotton. If you find this a bit too much for you, depends on how you vape. If you chain vape, etc., you may want to, cut it a little bit shorter, right? So now I'm going to saturate my cotton. I have Boss Reserve in here, one of my favorite flavors of all time. Right, so now it's nice and saturated. So this is what I'm going to be doing. Okay, I'm going to be using stainless steel, as you can see, stainless steel in my Wismac Rouleau at about 280 degrees Celsius. I'm going to be using 25 watts of power for it, right? So if you have a mod that you cannot tweak your wattage settings in temp control mode, that's going to be, it's not that bad, but it's better to start it at a lower wattage, for me at least personally. So if you have, let's say, a 75 watt mod that does not allow you to select your wattage in temperature control mode, you're going to have a very, very quick ramp up time using your complete full 75 watts, for example. So the Wismac Rouleau and let's say other Joytech mods or Wismac mods, or even a DNA 75, DNA 200 mod, you can always tweak your wattage settings even in temp control mode, right? 280 degrees Celsius at 25 watts. All right, I'm going to top off some juice here. And then I'm going to grab my Kayfun, right? So by the way, this is an authentic Kayfun 5. But if you don't have a Kayfun and you're looking for a clone, check the link in the description box below for the best clone, okay? In my opinion, at least, the SXK Kayfun 5, for where you can go and get it at the cheapest price possible, right? So now fully closed, tight. Open the juice filling pot, the top cap. Fill it in all the way to the top. Okay, and now to open the juice flow control. Different people do it differently, but I guess the easiest way is to twist it as many turns as you need to start seeing the bubbles, the air bubbles come out of the wicking holes down here, right? So we're going to start with one, at least half a twist. Nope, not yet. One more. That's about one full twist. 1.5, 2. Right, and I think that will be just nice. Right, I do see some air bubbles coming out. Right, just about that much, just nice. Alright, so let's take a vape. Whew. Nice, smooth, clean flavor. Alright, so wicking seems to be working really nice. Alright guys, let's get up back to FaceTime. Gonna wick on this a little bit more. I'm also gonna try to switch it to regular power mode and tell you which one is better. Ooh, cool. Kayfun 5 temp control stainless steel, 280 watts. Ramp up wattage about 25 watts, 0.3 ohms. Whew. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Let me try going up the temperature, 300 degrees Celsius. Still good. Still good. I think I liked it better at 280 degrees Celsius. Right, now let me try this in wattage mode. Right, just in case you want to use it with a device that does not have temp control. For stainless steel, it's okay. But apparently, the flavor is not as good as if you vape it in temp control mode. So, wattage mode, 25 degrees Celsius, 25 watts. You know what? I think the flavor is actually better in regular old wattage mode. 25 watts, man. So you can use this in your P3. No, you can't. You can't use it in your P3. You can use it in any device up to 30 watts. Should be just nice. But let me try 20 watts. Just 20 watts with the notch coil. 20 watts. It's not bad. Provari P3 users, all you have is 20 watts and you can make it work with the notch coil. Of course, if you use the 3mm notch coil, it's better actually instead of a 3.5 if you only have 20 watts. Not bad, man. Clouds like that for 20 watts. Yeah. Now let me bring it up to 30. No, 30. Yeah, 30. Nah, 35. Let's go to 35. Yeah. Nope. 35 watts start to taste a little bit more on the dry side, man. I mean, if you can get your wicking right better than me, then maybe at 35 watts. But otherwise, I think the sweet spot for this is going to be between 20 watts to 30. 20 to 30 watts. That's it. So let's get back to 30 watts. to 30 watts. The perfect build for you if you don't have that much of wattage to spare. Alright guys, that's all for this build tutorial. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. I hope I didn't bore you to death. As I always say, wokie dokie, no more smoky. Harry Baba, I'm talking to you.